Hi friends, it's Heather with Running with Scissors, and today we are doing the tutorial on your October 2023 box, and that is box number 36. So in the beginning you saw the still photo of what we're making today, so let's get started. Alright, so in the box you're going to have this big piece here, and this is your base, and we pre-glued and nailed this together for you. And you're also going to have your wood pieces. You have a bag of a couple of baby wipes. You have pods of paint. We're doing more like a watercolor on this one, similar to what we did to the bird. It was like a stain catcher almost, or I'm sorry, a sun catcher almost, a few months ago. So we're doing more of a watercolor, but if you want to do more of an opaque, you have plenty of paint here to do that. You have a couple of wedges. You have a tiny little pot of white, because the only thing we need to make white on this guy are his eyes. You have a yellow sponge, and you have a super glue, and then you have a brush. You're going to need a cup of water and some baby wipes, and I have my scissors handy, but I don't think you'll need your scissors for anything. All right, so let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is paint my browns. I'm going to paint his body brown, and I'm going to use, and his legs are going to be brown. I'm going to use a baby wipe to do that. Maybe his legs should be orange. What color are turkey legs? I guess that's up to you. I'm just going to take my baby wipe. I'm going to open my brown paint, and I'm just going to wrap the baby wipe around a finger and dip that into the brown paint. You don't need very much of it. And we are just going to do the faux staining on the turkey body. And then once you run out of paint, just dip it back in there and get some more. Don't keep wiping with your baby wipe, because you'll just wipe the paint off, unless you want it a little lighter, you know. And then when you join up like that, where I just did with the neck and the head there, just blend it together. All right, so there's my turkey body. And then once again, if you got some spots that are uneven or lighter, just go back over them to get it blended together. That's my turkey body. I'm gonna set that aside. And my turkey legs, I am gonna do my turkey legs brown. You can do your turkey legs whatever color you want to do them, but I'm gonna do them brown. And so back in. Okay, so now right here, my body's gonna cover this part, so I don't care that I go up there a little bit. All right, so my body will sit right over top of that, and it's not gonna worry, I'm not gonna worry about it. And then this right down here will be painted black. So it's either gonna be painted black, or it will be the front of, or behind the stand. Either way, it's not gonna matter, because you're gonna be able to cover it with the paint, or it's going to be hidden. Okay, and there's my turkey legs. All right, so I am done with my brown paint, unless something else comes up here. And I'm just gonna do these small pieces. So this is my hat, and then this is the band that sits on my hat. So it's like a little pilgrim turkey. And so I'm gonna do my hat black. And I'm gonna use my wedge for that. I'm just gonna dip my wedge into my black paint, and I'm going to paint my hat. Now you can make this completely opaque, or you can continue with the watercolor look of this that we are doing with the feathers and the turkey body. That's up to you. All right, there's my hat. I'm actually gonna put a real quick second coat on the brim here. I did make mine a little bit darker. It's not completely opaque, but okay, there's that. Now the center of his eyes will need to be black as well, but I'm gonna do that later with my brush. So we'll still need our black, but we'll do that later. If you have a black paint marker, you'll be able to use a paint marker on that as well. The band around his hat, I guess I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna do that yellow. I don't know what color they usually are. Are they usually white? Maybe we'll do it white. All right, well, let's do it white. So I'm gonna open my white pod, and I'm going to take, and I'm just gonna trim my wedge in half here because I don't need all that. And I'm gonna use the other half, and I'm gonna paint that band white. And then I'm gonna paint my eyes, the whole entire piece, even though some of it needs to be black. I'm gonna paint the whole entire thing white, and I'll go back over top of it, the black parts with the black paintbrush later. And we'll give this 2 coats on each of these here, so let that dry. Okay, good, we'll let that dry, and then we'll go back and we'll give this a second coat. We're really only concerned about making the white part nice and dark. Okay, all right, done with my white there until, well, probably for good. Okay, let's paint his beak. I think the beak should be between a yellow and an orange, so I'm actually going to use both my yellow and my orange. I'm going to use my paintbrush for this, and I'm going to have to rinse my paintbrush out and use it again. So make sure you have some paper towel handy to dry your paintbrush off between coats. You should probably have a second water cup with clean water so you can dilute your paint down a little bit when we do the feathers, if that's the look that you're going to go for. Okay, so I'm going to do a combination of yellow and orange here. So I'm just going to get some yellow on, and I'm going to get some orange on. And you'll need a couple of coats on this because yellow and orange don't cover that great. I'm not really worried about getting my brush dipped into both of my pods with the same color. I'm not saturating it with a lot of paint, so yeah, that's a good color. I like that. I'm just gonna wipe my brush off on my napkin first, and then I'll rinse it off in my water cup. Wiping it on your napkin first gets the bulk of the paint off before you stick it in your water cup. Then I dry my brush off, and I'll probably have to give that a second coat, but I don't want to wait until it dries, so I'm just gonna move on. I'm gonna open my red, and I'm gonna paint the little wattle red. Again, using my brush. You have to give your wattle 2 coats, letting each coat dry. All right, let's go back and do the last coat on our beak. And then we'll move on to our turkey. All right, we're gonna set that aside to dry. I'm gonna grab my black paint again, and I'm just gonna finish my eyes, and I'm gonna use my brush, and I'm just gonna come in here and work around. That score line, okay? Just work around that score line. Just go slow and you'll be all right. And there's your eyes. All right, so we're gonna move on to our turkey feathers. So I'm gonna paint my turkey feathers yellow, green, red, and orange. So let's see, yellow, green, red, orange. Okay, perfect. So one feather will, there'll only be one feather that has just one color. But I'm gonna do them across from each other. So I think I will do maybe the yellow with just one color. So red, green, orange, yellow. All right, well, let's try that. Now, I am going to dip my brush in a little bit of water before I start, and then I'm gonna grab just a little bit of paint on my brush, and then I'm going to just swipe that paint on in a thin coat. It should be kind of watery, but not so it's like, you know, dripping everywhere or that it looks more water than paint. My point of this is so that the scored lines on the feathers that we have show through. When we're all done with getting the colors on, I'm gonna go back and do something a little different with those, but I don't want a completely opaque feather. So that's where I'm going with this. If you want yours opaque, paint them opaque. All right, so mine are just gonna get that one coat. Now again, I'm gonna dip my brush in some water, and then I'm gonna go and grab some paint with it. And then I'm just painting along the edge, the score line of the next feather. And then filling in. Grab more paint when you need to. And we're going to continue this up the turkey feathers with each color. Okay, all the painting on our turkey feathers is done. But to give them a little something extra, I'm going to take my brown and my brush. I'm going to take my brown paint and my brush, and I'm just going to mix a tiny little bit of a color, whatever the color of the feather is, with just a tiny little dot of brown. I'm just using the end of my paintbrush to mix. And you don't need very much. So that's why, like, whatever's on my paintbrush is plenty. And I'm going to take that color I mixed and just get it on the end of my brush. There's not even very much on there. And I'm just going to take it and I'm going to run that brush straight up and down along those spines of the turkey feathers. And all that's doing is putting a little bit darker look into those feathers. And I'm going to do the spine straight up too. All right, can you see that? It just darkened those spines up just a little bit. And I'm gonna keep doing that with every color. A little tiny dot of brown with, it's about 1 brown to about, I'd say 3 of the color. Okay, all right, so that's how that turned out. And you can see it's not very much, but it's enough. So that is it for that. Now, the last thing that we have to do is his boots. So let's see. All right, so we are going to use our black wedge again, and we're gonna paint his boots. You can use your paintbrush if you want to. Now the boots are going to sit in the front. I couldn't remember how I had made this. So the boots sit in the front. So when you're painting these, just go along the legs. You don't want to go up into the leg there. And this probably will need 2 coats. All right, and then we're going to take this as well. And we're just going to paint the top edge here, just the top. And then we're going to paint this base. Now this, I don't want this completely covered, okay? We're just gonna put 1 coat on this. It's gonna be more like a stain. And we're gonna get the edges right there. On the sides, that's where the saw cut, so it's not nice and smooth, so you'll just want to pounce that into there. Now you will notice that this is not equal distance. This is not set in the center, and it's set a little bit towards the back because your turkey is going to get glued to the front part, okay? That's why it's not in the center. I'm just going to go ahead and swipe the paint on. Oops, I left a staple in mine. And then you're going to get these areas as well. You can use your brush for this. It might be a little difficult with the wedge. All right, I'm gonna put a second coat on my turkey shoes. All right, now I want you to see just how little paint I actually used. It's probably hard to see with the black, but the black, even doing all of that, is only half gone. So there's still a half a pot of black left, a half a pot of brown left, and the other 4 are pretty much full. So I know it probably didn't look like we gave you a lot of paint, but you actually had a ton. All right, I'm waiting for that to dry, and then we're gonna glue it all together. But while we wait for his shoes to dry, we can start gluing our turkey together. All right, so you're gonna take your glue. I already have a glue here. Oh, nope, I sure don't. Okay. You're gonna take your glue and twist the cap on, and then take the cap off. And let's grab all of our pieces. All right, so you're going to take your hat brim. Remember, glue just in the center, just a thin line, and even that all up and then press down. Pressure activates that super glue. Same with the little hat band. Line it up before you press it down and then press it into place. And take the body and let's put all this stuff on here real quick first so we know where we're gonna glue. All right. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and glue my eyes right there above my beak. And then I'm gonna glue my wattle and my beak on right below my eyes. And you have a little bit of time to move that around if you don't put pressure on it. All right, and then my hat is gonna get glued there. Now you see my hat is going to stick off my turkey head, okay? It's all right, it's gonna stick off the turkey head. We're just gonna put a line of glue about halfway up just to make sure we get it. And then we'll glue that down, putting pressure on the brim because that's where it's connected to the turkey body. And then we're gonna take our turkey feathers and we're gonna dry fit our turkey body in there. And then we're just gonna go ahead and put some glue on him. I'm not sure how far down he came. I did not pay attention. Oh, that yellow feather gets completely covered. Let's pull him down a little bit so we can see that yellow feather. He'll have short legs. There we go. That's not how I intended it, but I don't want that yellow feather to get covered, so let's do that. All right, how cute. This guy's cute. Okay. Now I'm gonna take this. Now remember, I'm gluing the turkey boots to the side where the widest part of this pine board is facing forward. So this is narrower back here and this is wider right here. And then I'm just gonna put the glue right on this here. Now these are hand cut, so you'll have to forgive us if a little bit of it sticks out. The main piece is cut on a laser and then these pine pieces are hand cut. But that's, I mean, it looks pretty good to me. If there's any spots that's not covered, we will cover it with paint. Okay, you're gonna have to hold this because this turkey is heavy and it has to have time to adhere to that base. So you're just gonna have to hold that into position for a second. Okay, and he's done. And I can't show you a camera angle like that, but let's see, how can I do this? And I know you saw it in the beginning, but here, let's do this. Let's set him upright, and then let's take the camera and go like, and there we go. He is darling, so cute, I love him. All right, you guys, that's it for box number 36. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll see you next month.